Hey, this is Scott Townsend. Thanks for joining the Scott Townsend Show. Just real quick before we get into the program, I'd like to say a big thanks, hat tip to Pop's Daylight Donuts and Castafly Outdoor Adventures. At Pop's, we got Easter coming up this weekend, so they've got a special going on from April the 2nd through the 4th. You can get a free bunny rabbit made out of a donut. April 2nd through the 4th, and they're open on Sunday from 5 to 9. So stop by Pop's Daylight Donuts. If you're here in Bartlesville, say hi to Mark for me and get your free, one per person, a free bunny rabbit made out of a donut. Sounds pretty cool, right? Now let's kick it over to Castafly Outdoor Adventures.
Adventure. That's where it begins. We look to create and document our moments in time while embracing the majestic wonder and beauty of the great outdoors. Our quest is to explore the back roads of the Ozarks, camping, fishing, and just getting lost. Refresh your spirit and join us on our next adventure.
Paul and his crew invite you to subscribe to the Castafly Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel.
Welcome to the Scott Townsend Show, brought to you by Dietzo Man Productions.
Hey, this is Scott Townsend. Thanks for joining the Scott Townsend Show. And today I have with me special guest, superstar, singer-songwriter, Ralyn Gayle Parker from Dallas, Texas. Ralyn, how's it going?
Hello, it's going great. How are you?
Raylan's really cutting me some slack here right now because we just did this interview 17 minutes into it before she realized I had not turned the recording button on. So trying to get over that one. So full disclosure, I just wasted 17 minutes of Ralyn Gayle's time. So please forgive me.
It's all right.
Okay. So what'd you have for breakfast this morning? Oh, nothing.
I didn't. Yeah. still nothing.
Still nothing. Yeah, it was still nothing for me too. Oh, so I want to take this a little bit different direction. When we were on the pre-show, you were talking about skydiving.
Yes.
So tell me that story, and then we'll get on into the songwriting here.
When I was a senior in high school, my best friends and I built this ultimate graduation bucket list, and we did not get everything done. But at the very bottom of the list was skydiving, because we were going to turn 18 and that was the thing to do, was go skydiving. And then we looked up how expensive it was. We were like, never mind. So I had never been, and I kept talking about how much I wanted to go. And my fiance loves skydiving. He'd been once before with his mom on his birthday, I think.
So how much is it?
I don't know, because I didn't pay for it. It was my anniversary present from him last October, and we finally scheduled the trip for this past weekend.
Okay.
So yeah, we went and we jumped out of airplanes, and it was super fun. We actually jumped through a cloud. So they're not as you can't run on them. They're not like plushy like they look like in the movies, but they're really cold. It was cold to go through that cloud, but it was really cool.
So you tandem jumped with an instructor or professional? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And landing? Do you just kind of sit down, or do you kind of run with it, or how did that?
So my instructor told me, he was like, we're just going to sit down. The winds are crazy today, so just put your feet out in front of you and we'll just sit down as we come in. So I was like, okay, well, that seems easy enough. So we did that. We get up out of the harness just in time for me to turn around and see my fiance is descending, and they had some miscommunication on whether they were going to sit or walk it out. And they just kind of tumbled over each other on the way in. So, but it was a good time. Everybody made it on the ground safely. Good. So,
well, that's the only definite part is you will make it to the ground.
How you get it?
How you get to the ground is totally up to the last person I interviewed actually. Sam Lister was talking about skydiving when he was 18, and his the guy that he tandem jumped with, he couldn't hear him because the wind was so loud, and the guy was telling him to stand up at the very end, and he prepared to sit down because that's what he had been told. It was either sit down or stand up, whatever. So whatever he did, the instructor did the opposite, and they just kind of landed on top of each other, and they made it. It was cool. It wasn't real graceful, but they made it. So that's really cool. Gosh, I want to do that so bad. But a guy like me, 6'4", 290. I mean, did they make parachutes big enough for guys like me to? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I have no idea.
Sure don't want to find out the hard way.
That's probably true. Yeah, probably not.
Getting back to your music, so you've got 2 EPs out, Drive and 44, and I just got to say that listening to these, and I listened to them more than multiple times over the weekend, and there's not a bad song on there. They are all fantastic. I love them. I told my wife, you've got to listen to this. And so for those of you listening, watching, you need to go to iTunes and download Drive and 44 by Ralyn Gayle. You're really going to enjoy it. They have some distinctive sounds. What would you say Drive sounds like? What's the mode of Drive?
So
style?
I wrote Drive when I was 15. So I was really young. I was really into Taylor Swift, like every 15-year-old was at that time. So that one has kind of like a pop country vibe. Really, really, you'll hear the Taylor Swift influence in those, I think. And I was, about to turn 16. I was about to get my driver's license. So the whole album is kind of about that too, which is why we ended up naming it Drive. But so yeah, really young Taylor Swift vibe to that one, I think.
And then 44 takes a turn, and there's kind of a when I hear this album, I see wet streets in a big city, litter, and at night, and people in trench coats, and walking down a sidewalk, gritty sidewalk, in some seedy part of town. Is that kind of?
That's kind of what I was going for. So, yeah, that album was much more influenced by, again, what I was listening to at the time was more of like an R&B blues kind of soul thing. I was really into Amy Winehouse and Etta James there for a while, and another artist named Kirby. A lot of her songs influenced that album as well. So.
And did I hear some Adele in there?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Let's play one of the songs from Drive. It's Dancing Under Red Lights. This song really took me back to, who cares? But I was in Florida working at Disney World in college, and we would, after work, it'd be midnight, 1 o'clock, everybody get in their cars and go drive to Daytona or whatever. Watch the sun come up, over the on the eastern horizon there, and then go back to work, But you can only do that when you're so young, couldn't do that today. But anyway, that's kind of what I was getting when I listened to Dancing Under Red Lights. So let's play a little bit of this and then let you kind of talk about the song.
Headed
So can you tell us a little bit about that song? What's the story behind Dancing Under Red Lights? Oh, and I noticed in parentheses it says a Devon song.
Yes.
So it's a great song. What's the story behind it?
Well, thank you. This song, I wrote this song when I was a freshman in high school, 15. And I wrote this at the time I was starting this new thing where I was going to write a song for all of my friends for graduation. And I had a friend who was a senior at the time. His name's Devin. He's like a brother to me, even still. And I wanted to write him his graduation song. And every day after school, he would pick me up and we would go pet bunnies at the Petco down the street, pretty much until they closed. And then we would go get dinner and we would go home. And we were kind of sort of neighbors. We lived kind of out in the country-ish area. And so there's a lot of land between us, but we do take the same road home. So I'm going to call us neighbors.
Right.
So we did that my whole freshman year of high school. And so when he was leaving, I was really sad, but I wanted to write this song that was kind of an ode to all of those happy times. So the actual Dancing Under Red Lights was a little bit less poetic than maybe, what you would think. It's midnight and you pull over and you get out of the car and you waltz or something underneath red lights. It wasn't like that at all. I think it was just us having a good time, I think, listening and dancing to like Jason Derulo in the car in the middle of the day under a stoplight. But I don't know, it inspired that song. So
how lucky Devin is for the rest of his life. He can say that he has a song written about him. I mean, how cool would that be?
It's one of the nice ones too. So
it's a good one. Oh, you mean nice one as in
I have some meaner ones, but
yeah, okay. Yeah. 44, I think, has a couple of those maybe in there. I don't know.
Just a few.
So yeah, maybe so if you get the opportunity, maybe you could write a song about being on a podcast with Scott Townsend and
Maybe so. Write a song about anything, I think.
Who's your biggest influence as far as writing music? What let me say it this way. If I said that you're going to be collaborating with this person for the next 2 months, who would you choose to want that to be?
I think I would probably choose, it's really hard to choose between these two because they're just so different, but either Julia Michaels, because it seems like everything she writes is in the top 40s on the charts. Like, I don't know that she's ever written something that wasn't a hit, it feels like.
Is she pop or country or what?
She's definitely pop. She does a lot of pop music, but she also writes music that's not for herself, that is less poppy. But it felt like for a while there, every song I would go and look at who the songwriters were on that, and I'm like, Julia Michaels, there she is again. Just incredible. And the songs that she writes are really clever. They're funny.
Such
they're catchy. Well, her stuff is great. And then the one I was shocked to see her name on, I guess, is Truth Is by Sabrina Claudio, which is just that's the one. Just a really, really heartbreaking song. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that she really had that side to her, but just was really impressed to see her name in places I wasn't expecting it. The other one is Kayla Hammock. I think she's kind of new to the country scene, or she just kind of had her breakout moment in the country scene with her most recent album, but her songwriting is just so incredibly meticulous. The way that she stays on topic. Her song Looking for a Lighter actually changed the way that I edit my songs now after I've written them, because it just is so incredible.
So dig into that just a little bit. What does that mean? She stays on topic, or she's meticulous. What? So the title
of the song is Looking for a Lighter, and so she spends the entirety of the song using analogies and parallels and imagery to point you towards that point. Like, I think the first line of the chorus is like, how can you flick me right back, spark up a memory, and just like that, I'm burning for you so bad. Like all of those are like lighter words
Okay.
that you would use to talk about a lighter, and she's using them to talk about something else,
Okay.
which is just amazing imagery. And even the first verse, she's literally just talking about looking for a lighter, but she describes other things that she finds in the drawer of random stuff that remind her of this ex-boyfriend or whatever. And she's like, at the end of the song, she's thinking, maybe I should quit smoking because I can't stop looking for a lighter. And every time I do that, you come up. So
Great. So when you're performing music, I know you do live shows, and you just did one last Saturday, I think it was.
yes, this past Saturday, I got to open up for David Adam Byrnes, who has the #1 song in Texas country right now. It's called Old School. You should go listen to it.
So we'll put that in the show notes. What's your favorite song to perform? What's your groove? What when you're getting it? Yeah, I could say that a million different ways. What's the song that you can't wait to get to because it's just it's your jam?
So this is actually kind of funny because we didn't play this song on Saturday, but I'd say that the song that is the one that I sing every time my fiance picks up a guitar and is like, okay, we're going to sing now, is probably Valerie by Amy Winehouse. And we actually did it at sound check on Saturday, but we didn't actually play it in the show. And I had people that stayed from sound check to the end of the show that were like, I was waiting for it. Why didn't you? I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. So that's probably my go-to song. Other than that, I think Shallow is a big one. People really are into that song right now. So I've enjoyed doing that one in the set.
I hear a lot of Amy Winehouse. I guess you like Amy Winehouse. What is it about Amy Winehouse that inspires you?
Her lyrics are they're so sassy. She also has some that are like really heartbreaking, but the way that she presents her lyrics as a vocalist is just so empowering. It's not really the word I want to use, but it has the same effect as when you're like talking about someone, you're like, oh, their voice just carries. Like they're not really loud, but their voice carries.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about Amy Winehouse that her voice just carries. And I wanted to really study that as a vocalist and kind of learn whatever that is about her. I don't know that I figured it out, so I'm still looking, but.
Well, I think you did a great job in 44 and the song Dreaming of Me. Talk about sassy, there was some, the one that sticks out is I hope it hurts, I hope it stings. I just kind of started laughing after I heard that because I was like, man, this lady's really got it out for somebody, But one of the songs in 44 that I thought we could take another listen to, this is your choice, Lie. So maybe we can take between Dancing Under Red Lights and Lie, we're going to be able to hear a little change in style, and let you talk about it a little bit after we listen to Lie from the LP or EP 44.
I know that day when you came home, I was as angry and embarrassed as you were. I could feel the tension there, wishing there was still in us, between us two. But if history really does repeat, why did we expect a different outcome this time? Should have seen it coming, should have followed all the signs, should have been more careful watched you cry, but the only thing I'll never do back to you is a lie. Through all the pain.
Much different. Much seriousness there. What's going on there? I mean, not that we can't tell, but
Yeah.
what were you going through, or what's the story behind the song?
So every now and then I'll have a song that just like falls into my lap out of the sky, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this song is incredible. Devin's song, Dancing Under Red Lights, was one of those songs. And when I have those songs, I'm like, this is my new standard. And so I had just finished that album. Actually, there was about a 3-year gap. I think I did this one when I was 18. And the next song that hit me like that was actually Dreaming of Me. But in between those two songs, I wrote Lie. So when I was ready to go into the studio and do the 44 record, I wanted all of the songs to be at the same level of quality as Dreaming of Me. So I was looking at the songs that I had written. My mom even asked me, she was like, are you sure you want to take that one with you? I don't think that Lie is really up to par. But that song was like my baby. Like, I've had that song since I was 16 years old, and I have just kept rewriting it and coming back to it. That song originally was like a beat acoustic guitar driven. I think I sang it in like a country songwriting competition. So you could hear how the song has drastically changed from that perspective. But at the time that I first wrote it, it was about, whatever freshman boyfriend I had that cheated on me with my best friend at prom. And it was all dramatic. And then when I actually went into the studio, I found out that the boyfriend I had at the time, which was a much more serious boyfriend as my freshman year of college, had really been keeping this big secret from me that really changed the rest of our relationship. We clearly didn't make it. So when I went into the studio, I just had all of this extra emotional baggage that I think ended up really selling that song and in the production stages. But every time that somebody hears that song for the first time, they come up to me like, oh my gosh, when I heard that song, it took me to this time in my life when I was in this bad relationship and this was happening. Like, even my own mom was like, wow, that took me right back to that one time. And I was like, I didn't expect this song to do that to people, because I wrote it about, my boyfriend that cheated on me at prom. Like, it was the most like petty, sad, dramatic 16-year-old thing I could have done was write a song about it. And
which shows you that we're all not that different, I mean,
yeah.
We all go through similar experiences at some point in our lives.
Yeah. So I do love that one.
So that was from the EP 44. Where does 44 come from? You said drive comes from driving around or getting your driver's license. Or can you say?
So 44, and this is just crazy. This is my lucky number in a way. For a while, it seemed, even still, like the number 44 will show up in the most random places. It was Devin's football number. It was another friend of mine's football number. It was actually my fiance. I don't know if you can tell, but he had it put on my engagement ring. So it says 44 on both sides.
That's awesome.
It's just a special little thing that's kind of followed me around. And I was like, you know what? I think I'll just name the album after it.
There you go. I love that. I know we've been going on for about 30 minutes here. We've gone longer because I didn't hit the record button earlier. So we're in 45 minutes here. I guess the last thing I would ask is, your fan base out there, you play live shows. You've got these 2 records out, 2 singles out. You've got an awesome fan base out there. If you could say anything to your fan base, what do you want them to know?
Oh man. I don't know. Well, first, like, thanks for all the support and for showing up to gigs and for showing up on Facebook and on Instagram and reposting stuff is huge. It always just means the world to me when people comment on my stuff. I would also say buckle up, because the stuff that I have coming is already very different than the stuff that I have out. So we're about to take another left turn, but I'm super excited about it. I think it'll be good. So.
Well, Ralyn, thanks for everything. Thanks for your time and the music that you create, and kind of giving us a look behind the curtain, how you make these songs and the music. And if people want more information, want to contact you, or how do people find out, what events you're going to, or how do people find out more about Ralyn Gayle?
I have a Facebook page, which is Ralyn Gayle Music, and I have an Instagram handle that's the same, Ralyn Gayle Music, and I try to keep those updated. I'm not just perfect at it, but usually that's the place to find out where stuff is happening. So.
Cool. Well, the 2 EPs are Drive and 44. I highly suggest you go out there and download those EPs. You're gonna love them. Ralyn, thanks a lot for being on the show. Appreciate your time, and thanks for the visit.
Thank you.
All right, for Ralyn Gayle, this is Scott Townsend. Thanks for joining the Scott Townsend Show. Hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.
The Scott Townsend Show is a Deetso Man production. For more episodes, visit the Scott Townsend Show YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.